Scientists may have found a link between birth control and some very dangerous side effects. Two recent studies from Denmark suggest using birth control leads to higher rates of breast cancer and a nearly 3 times higher chance of suicide. The research was published in the New England Journal of Medicine and the American Journal of Psychiatry. We're joined by Kelsey Harkness, who wrote about the study in the conservative publication The Federalist, where she's a contributor. So, Kelsey, how does this link between hormonal birth control and suicide go unnoticed for so long?
To tell you the truth, Wyatt, I'm not sure the link has gone unnoticed if you talk to women. Women who are using hormonal birth control know it's sort of an open secret that there's these side effects such as depression and mental illness. Perhaps we didn't know how serious they were, that they're actually causing a 3 times chance for women and teenagers to be committing suicide if they're using hormonal birth control. But this study looked at over 1 million women. So this isn't some little study that can or should be ignored. This is really important information for women to know to really make informed decisions about their reproductive health.
Sure, very eye-opening. That was just one of the studies. The other one links birth control actually to breast cancer. So I guess there are other factors here that could cause the disease. Why is this study so important?
Well, this was a very small but increased risk between breast cancer and hormonal birth control. And that increased risk is important for women, specifically older women who are maybe using IUDs, to know about, because older women, we know, already have an increased risk of breast cancer. So if we're talking about the suicide study, that's important for teenagers to know about, because teenagers are at a higher risk for suicide. And then when you add hormones to it with what they're already going through socially, that is an important thing to be aware about, that if you're having thoughts of depression or suicide, maybe you need to think about switching your birth control or going off of it. When it comes to breast cancer, it's older women who should be more alarmed, who are already at increased risk of breast cancer, because we know in the United States, 1 in every 8 women will experience breast cancer in her lifetime.
Let me ask you, because you're a conservative journalist, you say it's time to stop mocking conservatives, start listening to these types of studies. Is science starting to prove conservatives true?
I think for decades, conservatives, people of faith, have been mocked for being concerned or hesitant about hormonal birth control and whether or not it's good for our bodies. And it seems we've been kind of laughed off by the liberal media, by groups like Planned Parenthood, who profit off of prescribing women and teenagers birth control. But study by study, conservatives are being proven right that there are very serious sides of hormonal birth control that need to be researched more. My big question is, hormonal birth control has been around since 1960. Why are we only finding out about these very serious side effects now?
Really quickly, I want to ask you, how do you think this will empower women? These studies will empower women, noting the fact that some media outlets might present it as the opposite.
Well, groups like Planned Parenthood say they are the #1 destination, the #1 resource for women's reproductive health, education, and information. They've been silent on all of these studies. A lot of the mainstream media has been silent on these studies. And again, these studies were published in places like the New England Journal of Medicine. These are not partisan studies. These are studies of over 1 million women. If we really want to empower women and teenage girls, then we need to empower them with the knowledge and information they need to make informed and good decisions about their reproductive health and what they're putting into their bodies.
Kelsey Harkness, contributor at The Federalist. Thanks so much for talking with us about it.
Thank you, Wyatt.